And this is the only time I'm even addressing you psychopaths, because trust me, after this stream, you guys come in here just spamming all this nonsense. You're just going to be blocked, right? You're going to be blocked. Thank you for letting us know who you are. Now we can just take out the trash and we can just move on. So this is like your one opportunity to just really pretend like somehow you're relevant or whatever. Level Plane Productions, complete fake anti-truther. Good God in Govan, fake anti-truther. Crystal Jim, fake anti-truther. Simperfish, fake anti-truther. Dean White, fake anti-truther. True Christian, fake Christian, anti-truther. Freya, anti-truther. Talk like my mate when you're on meth. Sven Olsen, anti-truther. So you're a judge now. Henrik Dew, anti-truther. So basically, there's 900 people in here, 200 anti-truthers. But it's all good. And yeah, I definitely did just get pissed. It is what it is. I don't really care what you think, bro. Like, fine. Well, this is called righteous indignation. The scripture tells me to rebuke you. That's what it actually says. The scriptures don't tell me, Austin, never get upset. What it says is righteous indignation is not only justified, it's actually encouraged, and that you should be exposed. And that's what this is. I'm exposing you people. You work for a dark demonic energy. I'm exposing you.
True Christian would like to take this opportunity to thank Austin Witsit for these words. Coming from Austin, who is, metaphorically speaking, in bed with many of his co-grifters, co-shills, who are literally possessed by the spirit of the Antichrist, such as Owen Benjamin, Jaron Campanella, Dave Weiss, and Karen B. These words from Austin have bestowed upon True Christian a great badge of honor. He shall wear it happily, knowing it is an excellent symbol of his good service to Jesus Christ, our Lord. Brothers and sisters, True Christian understands that sometimes his long videos may get boring. This is, unfortunately, a natural byproduct of thoroughly analyzing a topic. We are here for the truth, even when it gets boring. If you close this video before you have watched it all the way to the end, as a result of that, then YouTube will think that this video sucks, and decide that people are not interested in watching it. Consequently, YouTube will stop offering to show this video to anyone, and therefore it will have a low number of views. And True Christian will feel very sad that he put many dozens of hours of volunteer work into creating a video that very few people even bothered to watch. True Christian will then become demoralized and discouraged from making more videos for you in the future. So please make True Christian happy by watching this video all the way to the end, even if it gets boring. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. In this video, we are going to take a closer look at the footage, which shill Dave Weiss has cited as proof that Austin didn't vape it. A short while after Weiss published this new excuse for Austin's Vape Gate scandal, Austin himself began to take up this excuse too, as if it is a valid excuse for Austin having faked his cold breath on Will Duffy's Antarctica movie set, which of course, it is not. We must note that this footage is from a different time and place. It is not the same place when and where we caught Austin performing his original Vape Gate scandal. Therefore, this other footage, which we are about to watch together, cannot possibly debunk anything about that. In other words, regardless of anything that happens in this video, Austin's original Vape Gate scandal remains 100% undisputed, as no legitimate disproofs of it have ever been put on the table. True Christian has analyzed the footage that Shill Weiss has cited in order supposedly to debunk Austin's Vape Gate scandal. While analyzing this footage, True Christian has discovered several strange things. Anomalies. 1. The steam comes out in fits and starts. At first the steam seems to be entirely missing, then it appears, then it disappears, then it later reappears again, and so on and so forth, as the cycle repeats itself. In other words, the steam patterns are very bizarre and sporadic. 2. The steam seems to come not from inside of Austin's mouth, but rather from the inside of his garments. 3. The strength, prevalence, and rhythm of the steam is highly inconsistent and very odd indeed. At some points, it comes out in strong and continuous and abundant puffs, yet, at other times, it comes out in weak, intermittent, lethargic puffs. In True Christian's opinion, the most likely explanation for these strange anomalies is that Austin had a steam-generating device concealed inside of his clothing, which was feeding steam up through a hose and then expelling it beside the right-hand side of his face. True Christian is not certain of this point. However, he is certain that we must never take Dave Weiss or Austin Witsit at their word. We are the real members of the biblical cosmology community. We will not have our positions be written for us or dictated to us by the shills. No way. We will decide for ourselves whether or not this video shows natural breath, or, alternatively, steam from a machine. As regards to this point, you are welcome to disagree with True Christian. Before you decide either way, please watch the footage for yourself, and without holding any assumption in your mind that the claims of the shills are automatically correct, when Dave Weiss and Austin Witsit declare that, supposedly, we can see Austin's breath for this entire video. If Austin did fake his breath a second time, then this begs the question, why did he do it again? True Christian thinks a likely explanation is as follows. Because he is arrogant and prideful, Austin went off script and disobeyed the instructions of his NWO handlers when he faked his breath for the first time, as proven in the original Vape Gate scandal video made by King Nico. Knowing that Austin would likely become exposed for this fakery, his cunning NWO handlers came up with a plan for damage control. That plan entails, they tell Austin to do another live stream, and this time, they would instruct him to conceal a small portable steamer machine inside of his garments, which will be a slightly more reliable way to fake his breath than was his off-script fakery when he used the vape. That way, when Austin's Vape Gate scandal became exposed, they could use the excuse that his second breath-faking event supposedly proves that they were not on the Antarctica movie set created by Duffy, even though, of course, they were. To help out True Christian, please, 1. Smash that like button. 2. Watch this video all the way to the end. 3. Share this video far and wide. 4. Please subscribe to True Christian if you haven't already. 5. Comment down below. Thank you, and God bless you. If you are a YouTube creator, then True Christian welcomes and encourages you please to feel free to mirror this video on your own channel, with a link back to True Christian's channel. This way, everyone wins, and together, we help God to spread the truth to even more people. Before we begin analyzing this strange footage together, let's hear what Austin has to say about it. If you think his T theory is a valid excuse for what we will have seen by the end of this video, then please comment down below to let us know that. On the other hand, if you are not buying his T theory, then please let us know that as well.
And obviously, the other debunk of this is that I did a whole stream with Owen Benjamin. You see my breath the entire stream. You just see my breath the whole stream. And the reason is because I was drinking hot tea. And so that honestly is why you were able to consistently see my breath, because my lungs and throat and mouth were constantly being introduced to liquid, and it was actually warm liquid. You could see my breath like the entire freaking live stream with Owen Benjamin. And people were like, I'm like, so explain. Oh, well, you that was pre-recorded. Or, oh, well, maybe that one, you were in Antarctica for that one. Like, what? So I was in Antarctica the next day? Somehow, I flew to Antarctica from where? If I was going to go to Antarctica, why did I ever have to fake anything? I faked one of them, but then didn't fake it in Antarctica. What are you talking about? Oh, well, no, maybe you just got caught. So then they turned the AC up in the studio. It's like I've heard the most ridiculous nonsense. Most people won't even acknowledge it. Like Flatsoy was just saying, we're not talking about that right now. That's not what we're talking about. I'm not talking about that. Yeah, because it completely destroys your whole entire narrative here that I had to fake my breath. I didn't. I objectively didn't. Objectively did not hit a vape and go and fake my breath on screen. It's insane that people keep saying that. Objectively not true. Didn't happen at all. And what really breathed life into that claim was someone deceptively editing a video to lie and pretend to show it. It's literally a lie. And any real truther should completely be disavowing whoever made that video, whoever published it, should take it down. I forgot the dude's name, but anyway.
Brothers and sisters, please bear with True Christian. We will also need to listen to Austin one more time, so that we will become fully and ideally equipped to analyze the footage.
I then do a live stream the next day with Owen Benjamin. I'm drinking hot tea, and you see my breath the entire time. You can't stop seeing it, right? I mean, there's an invisible vape in my beard or whatever.
True Christian thinks that Austin's comment, an invisible vape in my beard, is a trick of psychological manipulation. We see here that Austin is misusing the rhetorical strategy called reductio ad absurdum, aka reduction to the absurd, by fabricating an absurd example, namely, an invisible vape in my beard. Austin hopes to fool you into believing that because this example is absurd, we must therefore be seeing his actual, natural breath. But this is a false dichotomy. An invisible vape in Austin's beard is an absurd premise. However, a small, portable steamer, concealed in Austin's garments, feeding steam up through a hose. That is a perfectly plausible premise. True Christian apologizes that we've needed to spend much time doing a deep dive into all of the issues before we have even started our analysis. Sometimes, being a truther requires much diligence and hard work. Thank you for bearing with True Christian and doing this work with him. Keeping in mind everything that we've seen up until now, we are now, at long last, ready to begin our analysis regarding Austin's latest possible shenanigans. This is how the original video looks. They clearly set it up so that Austin takes up only a minimal amount of space on the screen. But since we are interested in discovering what shenanigans, if any, that Austin is up to, True Christian has zoomed in on Austin for you, so that we can focus on Austin and his supposed breath. Alternatively, could that actually be steam? My brothers and sisters, this judgment is yours to make.
Here he is. Witsit! Gets it! How are you, brother?
Good, what's up, brother?
Dude, tell me all about Antarctica.
I did a whole stream with Owen Benjamin. You see my breath the entire stream. You just see my breath the whole stream. I then do a live stream the next day with Owen Benjamin. I'm drinking hot tea, and you see my breath the entire time. You can't stop seeing it, right? I mean, there's an invisible vape in my beard or whatever.
I've been dreaming about it for like 7 years.
Dude, it's incredible, bro. It is legitimately incredible. When we flew over Antarctica, it was the best part, actually. It's super cold and you can't do much. But when you fly over it, dude, it's insane, bro. Like, there's no questions. Got any questions about a crater? Fly over Antarctica, bro. It's that pretty. It's incredible.
Like, tell me what it looks like. Like, is there a big wall? Is there mountains? Like, tell me.
Yeah, so we actually flew over the peninsula entrance. So obviously it's a little higher than the water, but it's not the big ice shelves. It's one of the main entrances they always fly over. So that was the most disappointing part, probably, because they flew us over that little peninsula entrance. And then you fly in just tons of water and ice, dude. Any human that tried to trek that is such a legend, like insane. But yeah, there are tons of mountains everywhere we're at. I can try to show you. So like everywhere you look, right, just snowy mountains everywhere. And then we were in this little plane right here earlier, and they flew us through the mountains, and it's crazy, bro. It's super cool. So it's just it's just as far out as you can see. It looks super flat. Everything's ice, and then it just rises up, and then you just have nothing but mountains everywhere that we've looked. So it's crazy.
So how are you feeling about people's reactions? Because you could see a sun for 24 hours, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, no questions asked, yeah. People are acting really gay.
Yeah, they're being gays.
That's so gay. So, I mean, a lot of people are saying that we faked it and all this goofy stuff. And I'm like, well, I feel like that's kind of you admitting that in your mind, you jumped over to this other like model and internalized it. And since this doesn't match with what you thought, you're freaking out. So I must be now a Mason or something or whatever. You loved me last week, but now I'm fake, So I think that part's super lame. Obviously, I know some really cool flat earthers that were excited I was going and had my back the whole time. So it's kind of split. But people were freaking out. And I guess I watched your video and you said it really well, which is that this doesn't all of a sudden make the spinning globe real.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, yeah, it's just that this conception that was popularized, I think maybe even handed to us. You got the AE map just handed to you. It isn't correct. Like what the depiction that you see on Dave's app, it clearly isn't that simple. And I think it's actually naive of us to think that like the creators, like heavens, are that simple. But I didn't think there was a 24-hour sun here. I've said for years I didn't think there was one. There was like no footage, and I was wrong. That's the other part that's super gay is people think it's like such a big deal to be wrong. It's not that.
Bro,
big of
I got
deal.
way more. I got so much respect for you, man.
Like I've seen some interesting. I think that we're in a tourist field. I think everything's electric. So I've seen some interesting demonstrations of kind of what would happen in the outer parts of a tourist field, how you would get basically apparent locations of light, and they would move around the opposite way. And that may be happening. I know Joe Hanvey made a model where if you have waters above, it would basically act like a mirror. How you'd like look in a lake and see a mirror. So that would give you the inverse of whatever the sun's doing. And then he would move his camera around. The sun would follow the camera and just do this little 360. So we have like replicated this, but I just want to say this again to people. If you're like super spiraling about this, it's because you needed to replace a model.
Right.
I did a whole stream with Owen Benjamin. You see my breath the entire stream. You just see my breath the whole stream. I then do a live stream the next day with Owen Benjamin. I'm drinking hot tea, and you see my breath the entire time. You can't stop seeing it, right? I mean, there's an invisible vape in my beard or whatever.
To me, is basically you can't figure it out. I don't think there's anything wrong trying to figure things out, but understand that we're never going to fully have the answers. That's what you have to break away from.
Dude, and you actually going to Antarctica is so like boss. because you did it. That's why when you see people calling guys like you a grifter, that's the opposite. Like, you actually went to Antarctica, which takes so much balls. You admitting what you're seeing, you being chill, you being in gratitude. Like, I have just so much respect for that. Toronto Jew Bear is asking, is the sun circling clockwise or counterclockwise?
Counter. It's going the opposite way than it does in the north. You know, which is a trip as well. But like I said, with that guy's little mirror, that like even a mirror, it flips, right? It's a trip because the globe does say that it's going to go the other way and it's going to do a circle around you. And so that, I mean, I will say, so before the trip, I thought there's definitely not one because there was no footage of it and it was all fake. There was like fake footage, like people fake stuff. Like, this is so sus. And then the webcams were getting cut out for 8 hours. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, this is so weird. So that's why I came, is because, well, I've seen it with my own eyes. You know, I know it's real. And I understand why someone maybe wouldn't just believe that because you need to see yourself. Well, come down here, man. It's like $35K. I wouldn't have spent that. You know, hopefully it's not cloudy. We got like 7 or 8 cameras that filmed it around the clock. But once I started leading up to the trip, I could tell, like, wait a minute. Like, they know there's a sun here, you know? And so I started shifting over before the trip even happened. And then my buddy Gio found like a guy that was skydiving here, and he had a 360 cam with like 100 views on the internet. I'm like, okay, this isn't some elaborate conspiracy. It's got 100 views and some dude just filmed it. And then when I landed, this is when I knew for sure, but when we landed, we got tour guides. I'm like, all right, everyone that thinks level means curve, go over here. Because they said we needed 2 groups. So then they start bringing us around. And the first thing that the guy that's kind of documenting everything asked, like, all right, so when is sunset? And he just chuckled and was like, he's like from Ireland. He's like, it just goes around. And I'm like, that dude is not lying to me. You know, he's like, anyway, here's the bathroom. You know, so I'm like, I knew that it was here, but no, yeah, it's cool, man. It's an experience. Like, most people are just coming here to like have money to blow, and they want to say that they went to all 7 continents. You know? Yeah.
I think the thing that's spiraling people is the false binary of, oh, well, that, no, it's not a spinning globe though. And you're like, it doesn't mean it is. Like, you know, it just means that one model isn't true. And that's fine. Like, I was never sold on any model because I know that little trick. It's like a marketing trick. Is Miller Lite, does it taste great or is it less filling? Like, you're doing an assumption that it's Miller Lite. So is it this model or the globe model? It's like, it can be an almost infinite amount of other things and we might not be able to fully conceive it, but you can prove it doesn't have the curve or the spin that they claim. And if them sending you to Antarctica to look at a light in the sky is their only evidence, that's makes the globe even weaker. But Weiss is definitely rubbing his little Jew hands right now.
Yeah, he froze for a little bit, but it's so funny. That's when I came back. Yeah, I mean, I think that his app is useful for
me too.
Like,
me too. Yeah, I love Weiss.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Because he was wrong. Like, yeah, because Weiss is a great guy. Like, I get it, and it's like. He's like, he put himself out there. He's like, I'll show you what it could be. I'll show you how another thing can function without the globe. And the globe doesn't function either. It doesn't make accurate predictions like people claim at all. So you just have 2 models that aren't fully accurate, but you are on a plane. Like, this is a plane and it's not moving. And I love that you went there, and I love that you're so cool with it. It shows that your ego isn't attached to this shit. Like, to be able to stay in wonderment is just the best.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool because now, I was telling everyone before, I'm like, this is super good for what people call fighters. I even think that title is kind of lame, but because now we get a huge piece that we didn't have.
Exactly. Another data really point. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's so cool. We could have sat here and talked about it for 20 years thinking this wasn't here, and that would have been a waste of time. And now we know it's here. I think that's just a good thing. I don't really fear truth, you know. We talked to the girl that like puts this on, meaning that she's in charge of a lot of the things. Basically, their idea is that you can call this place and say, this is what I want to do in Antarctica. And if they can make it happen, then they try to make it happen, which they did do that here. They took us out like a kilometer and a half away. We're out in the middle of nowhere. So now we lost Wi-Fi. We put a Starlink up, we got Wi-Fi, and then we put all these tripods up. They catered to what we wanted to do. They took us there because there's a mountain that's too high over here, and the sun would have dipped below it a little bit, which we all know would have been a grand conspiracy or something. So we went where we would see the sun the whole time, and they catered to it. And she was telling me that there are some people that want to go across Antarctica. And so I was hearing her out. I was asking her a bunch of questions. She said like they got these decked out Toyota Highlanders, and they headed south. But per usual, what happens is they go towards the quote unquote South Pole, and they start popping up north. And so if you were to really just keep going south, I have no idea. I would love to know.
Any fuckery as far as the flying, or has that all been straight up?
Well, if you actually look at it, like even on the globe, or if you look at it on this idea that the ice extends around us, we're not that far in. So I really don't know. I don't think there's any flights that come from those two places here. Supposedly there's a place in Africa, they fly to a different place, right? Different side, which would make sense. So I don't know. Of course, though, from the story we're told, it all lined up because I was checking like 4 compasses on the way.
Please remember to give that like button a good smash, subscribe to True Christian, and comment down below. Let us know what you think the best explanation is for the mysterious substance that we have just seen. What do you think that it is? 1. Natural breath coming from Austin's mouth. Or 2. Steam coming from a machine concealed in Austin's garments. Or 3. Something else entirely. And if so, then what? Let us decide together, as the community of shill-free, real biblical cosmologists, exactly what we have seen in this video. Finally, please remember to believe in Jesus Christ, accept his payment for your sin debt, and repent from evil. Thank you, and God bless you.